And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the quarterfinals of the PiGosaur Cup number 59. We are here. We have returned with a fresh series with a PvT, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sizestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the teal Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our PvT. Coming into this, MaxPax is the favorite player, but ByuN is one of the few Terrans out there that can bring it to MaxPax. I would not be surprised if it goes to the ace match, and this can go either way. I do lean slightly towards MaxPax, but I also understand that ByuN has brought him down before, and he can do it again. But here we go. We're loading into our first game. We're loading into 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet is one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. That is true. I was mentioning the maps earlier here, but when I think of the aggressive maps currently, I think of Ruby Rock, I think of Tourmaline, and I think of 10,000 feet as well. The rush distance by ground isn't too short, but it's really more about the exposed bases, the exposed 4th, the exposed 5th, the exposed 6th expansion, as ByuN does go for the eBay block here, but MaxPax is quick to react, quick to respond, and MaxPax should force a cancel. So MaxPax already in position, ByuN didn't try to hide his SCV, and this shouldn't really delay for too much longer. Again, if this went unscouted, then MaxPax would be forced to expand at the third base location. He'd be more vulnerable, more exposed to something like an all-in, to something more aggressive, but that wouldn't happen here. There's a cancellation, and MaxPax does take the natural without too much issue. There was some denied mining, but not by too much. We see ByuN going for the CC on the high ground, going for his own economic start as well, but also delayed just because of the eBay. So a bit of a bumpy start, but all in all here, we're getting to our openers, getting in towards our early game. Let's go. Going to be building up. Now, when it comes to the meta of PvT, if you've been watching ByuN over the past year of play, you'll know that ByuN, he is the least aggressive and the most macro-oriented out of all the Terran players out there, compared to Cure, compared to Bunny, compared to Clem, compared to anyone else. ByuN, he often does play towards the mid to late game. He rarely goes for all-ins. Not saying he never does. He does mix them in every now and then, but it's more uncommon than all the other Terrans. We'll see if ByuN is able to make use of this map and be more assertive. Instead of going for a 2-base all-in, we might see some 3-base aggression, or aggression once he takes his third, or as he takes his third. We'll keep an eye on ByuN. This isn't the worst map to try to turtle up on when it comes to the natural into third into 4th base. It's relatively secure here on 4 bases, and because of the terrain, you can actually take over the center of the map quite quickly and quite easily with a heavier tank count. So we'll see how ByuN approaches this. Oh, that is a Rax before starport. Hello, ByuN. First things first, we do have a Stargate opener at a MaxPax, not a Twilight Council. This is risky. We speak about this all the time, but Stargate play does leave you vulnerable to all-ins. Like, you are vulnerable to 2-base all-ins. Stargate play is amazing when it comes to longer games because you can shut down drop play, you can shut down Widowmine drops, Banshee openers as well, contain the Terran, and get into Charge or get into Colossus from here. But as you can see, ByuN isn't opening up Banshee, he isn't opening up Widowmine drop, he's opening up second Rax, he's delaying his starport, and this looks like the beginning of a 2-base all-in. The reasoning for this is we have a fast eBay for +1, we're going to be having a faster second Rax, delayed medevac production, faster stim because of that faster second Rax, but the blue stage, sorry, the Phoenix will scout everything. Yeah, it does confirm the second Rax, he knows. So MaxPax, more or less, he's aware of how much danger he's in. Robo's on the way, and we can even get defensive immortals. Meanwhile, ByuN is aware that that's a very real Phoenix, not fake. But ByuN, he has the option to pull the boys. He can pull the boys with this as well. Did mention how ByuN, he is the most macro-oriented out of all the Terrans, and I stand by that, of course. But hey, if you're going to all in, hey, 10,000 feet, Tourmaline, Ruby Rock, I mean, this is the place to do it on. And as you can see, that's a third Rax. So we're delaying the starport even further to the point where we might not even get a starport this game. This +1 is on the way. Stim, likewise, almost halfway done. And MaxPax is going Phoenix Colossus. Okay, so again, because MaxPax knows how much danger he's in, he's getting safety immortals, right? If he was unaware, there wouldn't be immortal production here. So he's getting safety immortals, he's being as safe as he can be, massing up an army, but it's still not going to be easy because he is vulnerable until the Colossus pops out. It's going to take a while. He's backstab, they get 1 SCV. We get 1 SCV so far. Oh, calm down, ByuN. Now we get the delayed starport. Stim is almost complete. And ByuN is pushing. Oh, does catch a Phoenix. Gets 2. 1, 2 Phoenixes go down. Very nice damage. ByuN is pushing. He's trying to catch the Phoenixes. You see MaxPax in position. The first Colossus is halfway done. And ByuN, he barely doesn't get a 3rd Phoenix. He's still trying to hunt them down. So we have combat shields all the way. Gaza Shell as well. The first Colossus has arrived. MaxPax, he should hold on. ByuN is pushing. I mean, there's not really much support for the Colossus, true. The Colossus can always kite away, but does ByuN have enough to break this position? Remember, he has Stim. That's what the Colossus. Stim's in. Does try to Stim. Doesn't get much, though. He gets 1 Zealot. And he cannot break this. Yeah, ByuN, he cannot break this. He turns around. Phoenixes that came with the production. Tanks are left on their own, by the way. Jesus. Okay. Turns around for them. And the game will continue. Yeah. So the stim timing has failed. The early stim timing has failed. Now we're going for the 3rd CC on location. ByuN was trying to be hyper aggressive, but I think he was assuming it was going to be a charge follow-up, not Colossus. But, I mean, 1 Colossus is enough to shut down this early bio push. And MaxPax, he holds, he defends. We see ByuN, he's still being active. I mean, he has to be. So going for a split push, double jump into the main army towards the 3rd. Phoenixes, they delay the CC. And MaxPax, he warps in time. He warps in, he doesn't kill the medevac. Remember, there's no blink. Scan reveals Colossus still in position. And MaxPax defends. MaxPax does defend. Bleeds out a couple of gateway units, but nothing major. Oh, going for the Cybercore, okay. Cybercore sniped. Their base is finishing up. And this isn't the cleanest early game getting in towards 3-base saturation, but ByuN, he's getting there. He's stumbling his way there, getting his 3rd base up. Ghost Academy is done. The Phoenixes haven't gotten too much damage over the course of this game. So far, getting 6 SCVs in total. I mean, that's acceptable losses. Oh, does catch 1 Phoenix, does catch 2. Better movement here by ByuN. And MaxPax called out of position, down to 1 Phoenix. This just means less map control, less ability to deal with these drops. A weakened ability to harass, to scout. What's terrifying, though, is the main core army has been building up. Charge is done. We have 3 Colossus. Storm is on the way to supplement the army. MaxPax has built up a terrifying death ball. They get spotted. ByuN has to respect it. How many tanks? 2. 2 tanks on the high ground. Drop into the main base. Very nice drop. Probes are going down. MaxPax out of position. Late to react, late to respond. But he's rotating over. I believe with range he can hit the mineral line. Yeah, he can. He will threaten that mineral line. Nice EMP. Very nice EMP. The Prism gets thrown away. Archons as well. Yeah, very rough engagement here from MaxPax. He loses far too much. That EMP was brutal. And ByuN can chase. Yeah, ByuN, he can and he will chase. MaxPax overextends. And MaxPax should lose everything. Should lose everything here. 1, 2, or 3 Colossus. Oh, no, keep chasing. Keep going, Pappy. Keep going. There we go. Gets the final Colossus as well. GG gets called and ByuN takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Whew, as ByuN does take a lead in the series. Again, MaxPax, he did overextend. He was inattentive when it came to his army. He had a really rough engagement when he moved his Prism into the army, when he moved his army into the EMP, when his Colossus was lagging behind. It was just a really, just a really fumbled assault there from MaxPax, when all he needed to do was deny mining. All he had to do was deny mining at the mineral line, stay on hold position, not move in. But again, MaxPax, he was inattentive. He was punished. GG. GG, well played. With that, ByuN takes the lead, and now we're getting to game number 2. Want to see how to submarine push with the Stargate opening? So when you open up Stargate, your follow-up is one of 2 paths. It's either going into charge lots or going into Colossus, right? One of 2. So of course this game he went into Colossus production. It is important that he did go Immortal first, just so he had any kind of support and buffer for the army. That's what's important. And of course buying time with the Phoenixes. But you can go for a similar defense with charge instead. You have options. Do have options, but here we go. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of White Rabbit, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss representing Storm Gaming. Down in the series, we'll see if you can bounce back. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Teal Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. Here we go. And big shout out to Dave Test in the chat. God, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great cast. I hope everything's okay. I know that Dave, I believe Dave was casting Clem, right? I think you were casting Clem versus Percival. I think you were the only one in Clem versus Percival as well. So I hope the series went well, and I hope everything's okay. Again, shout out to Dave. Dave, of course, is also a regular community caster, covering events like PiGosaur Cup, also one of the big minds behind the KSL. Without Dave Testa, the Korean StarCraft League would not be possible, would not be a thing. So much love to Dave, does a lot for the scene, and has, of course, recently been covering the OSC Masters Cup as well, which I believe Dave also did sponsor. I believe he's also funding that. And that's also been running for the past month, I want to say. Right, a month. So big shout out to Dave. Este Dave. Take care, Patty. Take care. But here we go. Here we go. Got game to only smirch. Ah, no, Patty. Oh, no. Not like this. For now, double gas open out of ByuN, going for a faster factory, going for a delayed TC, so more of a tech heavy start this time. As a reminder, last game ByuN did open up racks into eBay block, into CC on the low ground. This time faster tech, faster factory. This can lead into faster starport play as well. So very different kind of starts. Meanwhile, back at home, MaxPax going for a standard opener. Welcome to White Rabbit. White Rabbit is one of the larger maps in the map pool, so we go from one of the more aggressive maps in 10,000 feet into one of the more macro maps in White Rabbit. Very large map. What I will say, even though the map is large, and I would say the bases themselves are relatively defendable, but they're very spread out. The area you have to traverse between your triangular third base and your linear third base is actually quite long. It's very, very long. At the same time, as the aggressing player, it's also awkward to rotate because of these rocks. There are rocks here in between the bases that do make it awkward to go back and forth between fourth and third. So I'll be honest, I haven't really seen enough games on White Rabbit to really cement my opinion. Personally, I do think that this does favor more defensive turtley play, but at the same time, I also recognize that we haven't seen too many games on White Rabbit yet. We have seen some players expand forward, take this forward base as a third, then expand behind them, take this base as a fourth base, and then the base on the right hand side as a fifth, as a more centralized kind of like 5-base setup. We have seen that, where they knock down these rocks and they keep their army here in between their 5 bases. But here we go. For now, once again, do you see what I see? Second racks before starport. Just like last game, I mean, different opener, but the end goal here is the same. Going for a delayed starport, second and third racks. Once again, we're going for a very early bio stim timing. Really early stim timing here. Now, this time, MaxPax is going for a standard build. No Stargate play. Twilight Council. Twilight Council into Blink, going for a very Blink Stalker heavy composition. This time MaxPax should have a more robust standing army. Last game, once he lost his Phoenixes, he just had very little to support his Colossus. His ground army was very small, was very lackluster. That will be different coming into this game though. And we'll see how many gateways he gets up to. So far we have 2 gateways here at the natural. We have 1 gateway in the main, so 3 gate Blink out of MaxPax. Let's go 3 gate Blink, Prism is out, and MaxPax is pushing. Now currently MaxPax, he has very limited vision, very limited scouting, but with this aggression it should also give him some information as to what's going on. ByuN not going to stim, rushing into combat shields first. Dolan, is that you? he's going for the Dolan build. Okay. Early combat shields timing instead. Basically the purpose of this build is that your main DPS, your main bulk of damage is coming from not the Marines, from the tanks. And what's the purpose of the Marines? To buffer. They're a meat shield, which is why we're getting shields, right? We're getting a shield upgrade, not the DPS upgrade. It's all about just preserving those tanks, keeping them alive. The boys are being pulled, and ByuN, he commits. He commits across the map. MaxPax is in position to delay. Picks off a Marine, but again, the army will not be stopped. The Prism, no! Does break the lock-on. Yeah, lock-on is broken. The boys are here to repair. And MaxPax, he's in danger. He's in trouble. He does pull away. Oh. As he does try to blink past. Setting up the potential surround. But ByuN is made it to the high ground. He has arrived. Tanks are sieging up. And Stalkers, they catch reinforcements. There we go, 2 Marines going down. Oh, sorry, 1. 1 Marine gets picked up. Gateways are falling. The Immortal has arrived. Okay, more shield barriers on the way. Sorry, just the 1. He blinks in. He gets 1. Yeah, 1 tank goes down. He gets 1. He gets both tanks. And with that, there is 0 tanks left. The Cyclone falls as well. And ByuN, he's running out of steam here. But he does reinforce. The bunkers are finishing. Another tank has barely arrived in time. ByuN, can he keep going? Can he keep this going? Oh my god. Takes down another gateway. Stalkers, they blink down. They blink to the low ground. Reaper peels off into the mineral line. There's 3 bunkers complete this time. The tank is secure. Ah, but he cannot depower the robo. That would have been huge. That could have been game. But again, MaxPax is up against the wall. Warpin's behind the army. And this rover is going to get sniped, but only after the Immortals popped out. There's already 2 Immortals. There's 2 Immortals left. ByuN has to pull away with his reinforcements, as now there are Zealots behind this. I believe charge is done. And we'll see if MaxPax can surround this army. We'll see if he can collapse in. With Zealots, it is going to be easier. Oh, he recalls to the right-hand side. Okay. Recalls to the right, so this tank is exposed. So this first tank should go down without an issue. The second tank is a little bit more protected. And here he comes. Yeah, here comes the army from behind. First tank goes down instantly. Diving on the second, both tanks full. And now it's just bunkers, and just bunkers remain. ByuN, he was just unaware of the recall, he was unaware of the backstab, and ByuN, he will lose everything. Yeah, all the bunkers go down, and MaxPax, he will hold. And what's important, MaxPax, he saved the third. The third base is up and running, like it's safe and sound. MaxPax, he has more bases, he has a better economy, and ByuN was all in. ByuN, he was all in, he still is all in. Oh, MaxPax has to be careful. Pokes off the ramp. We'll lose 2 Stalkers. 2 Stalkers go down. He does face check. Checks with his face. Gets punished. As I'll say, 2 drop into the main. Getting 4 SCVs. At the same time, ByuN, he pulls extra boys. ByuN, he'll defend with a bare minimum. He defends, he zones away. The Prism is getting very low. And does MaxPax have enough back at home? Warping extra Stalkers. That's a lot of Marines, though. We got 3 tanks. Can he break through the Zealots? There are just so many. Yeah, so many Zealots here. They buff up for the Immortals. 1 tank goes down. There's 2 tanks left. do siege. Can he get one of the immortals? He gets one. Oh my god. Gets one immortal. I believe there's no other robo, right? Yeah, the robo was not rebuilt. Was not rebuilt. What you see is what you get. One immortal remaining on half HP. ByuN can still do this if he can lure the army into tank range. Oh god, that's a lot of Zealots. Yeah, Zealots are coming from behind. GG gets called. MaxPax, he cleans up the army, and MaxPax will tie things up 1-1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. A very explosive all in here by ByuN, but there was a big moment here for MaxPax when he recalled. If you remember, when he recalled to the third base location and he surrounded the army, he was able to get Zealots from behind and Immortals from the flank. He was able to get on top of the tanks. The tanks were exposed just because ByuN had them in position for a frontal assault, didn't have them in position to defend from behind or from the flank instead. So ByuN, he was caught out of position, he lost the tanks, and his position was broken. That was GG. That was GG then and there. We did see ByuN punish MaxPax and catch an immortal and catch some stalkers in the center. There were some really nice moments after that, but again, ByuN was running out of steam. He failed to kill the third base, so as time went on, MaxPax had an economy. ByuN did not. GG. GG, well played. We're going to the ace match. Do pros like to avoid late game in weeklies? No. Maybe for weeklies, they prefer to not have 30-minute long games. If you don't watch a lot of StarCraft, you might not be familiar, but we do cover a lot of late game. Typically here in weekly tournaments, I do recommend watching especially ByuN in online cups as well. Recency bias is a thing, so if you've only been watching today's games, you might come away with the opinion that there are only all-ins or only short games, but this is not indicative of the greater scene of what we typically expect, but maybe it is indicative of what is to come. What I will say is that coming into this series, MaxPax is favored for sure, so ByuN feels pressured to be hyper aggressive. He's been feeling pressured, but we'll see if this becomes a trend. We'll see if this becomes a trend when it comes to playing against other Protoss players as well. Let's go. For now, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Title Citadel, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. As he was able to tie up the series 1-1, it is MaxPax. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Teal Terran player, the South Korean Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. But I do recommend watching the last like 2 weeks of play for StarCraft. We've been casting a lot of late game, from Clem, from ByuN, from Percival, from Cure as well. Over the past month of play, we've been seeing a lot of late game in TvP, especially on maps like Celestial Enclave, on maps even if you watch like Maru series from RSL, Maru versus Hero in the upper brackets, on maps like Celestial Enclave, maps like White Rabbit, maps like what's the other that comes to mind, Winter Madness as well. True. As ByuN is going Rax Expand. But again, based on ByuN's tendencies, I would say that this more aggressive series that we've been seeing here is more just because of the opponent he's up against, just because he's up against MaxPax. It does feel like ByuN is pressured to try to end the game early, or feels a pressure to end the game early. And I will say that both games so far, we have seen some varying builds. But welcome to Title Citadel. Title Citadel is similar to White Rabbit. It is a very large map, but I would say this is a little bit more extreme when it comes to the placement of the bases. Your natural is secure, but your third and fourth base are very spread out. And we have seen a lot of players struggle to defend their third and fourth bases here in the longer mid game, just because you spread yourself so thin between these locations. So we'll see what ByuN goes for. For the first time this series, 1-1-1. Okay, you have my attention. Remember, winding it back here, when it comes to how ByuN has been playing this series so far, both Game 1 and Game 2, ByuN went for a second and third racks before Starport. This is the first time we're seeing a Starport before any extra raxes. This so far is looking a lot more standard as an opener. Less aggressive. At least when it comes to these stim timings and early bio pushes. Reaver gets surrounded, gets one probe. Back at home, going to be a Twilight Council opener out of MaxPax. Is a TvP thing too? Current meta is more all in on the Terran side. That is not true. Again, if you've been watching StarCraft over the past like month of play, we've been seeing a lot more late game than all ins. So I do recommend watching, say, Maru in RSL, or Clem in the Open Cups, or ByuN in the Open Cups. That was the narrative earlier this year, like around DreamHack Dallas coming into EWC. That is true. So earlier this, like again, like the CVP meta has been shifting a lot this year, but all-ins were a lot more common back then. There we go. ByuN is going to be opening up with the early... Oh. He's going for another early push, by the way. He's setting up for another early push. It looks to be the case as there is no add-on on the second racks. So he's massing up Marines and he's going to be reinforcing with the Liberator as well. And you can see the Liberator is not rallied across the map. He's building up back at home. So eyes are on ByuN. How many gateways? 1, 2... Jeez, 4... Okay. Before ByuN can get aggressive, though, 4-gate blink. 4-gate blink Stalker, hyper aggression out of MaxPax. He's committing. Matter of fact, does get across the map, but MaxPax, he's not going to turn around. Back at home, he has 2 Stalkers, soon to be 5. 5 Stalkers to defend. And so far gets 3 probes, at the same time dives into the main base, tanks in position. Nice tank volley. Meanwhile, not all the Stalkers actually got into the main. Despite going 4-gate blink, MaxPax, he was forced to warp in defensively back at home. And this opener here, it's falling on its face. MaxPax, he's forced to expand, taking up into charge. Ideally, you'd have this amount of Stalkers going in with the first blink. But so far, ByuN is holding. So we do gotta drop into the main base. At the same time, ByuN, he sneaks out across the map. ByuN, he has almost nothing to defend. Uh-oh. Base trade? A really awkward base trade here out of ByuN. Stalkers, they go in, they get behind the mineral line. ByuN, it takes so long to get across the map here. It's a big map, Abby. He's going. At the same time, MaxPax doesn't realize. There's nothing here. The door is open. Oh my god, there's literally nothing to defend right now. We got 2 Marauders. We got now 3 Marauders as time goes on. MaxPax doesn't realize. Ah, no. And now he goes in. Yeah, now he realizes, but this is a late reaction by MaxPax. He blinks into the natural. Boys are being pulled. And the base trade commences. Oh, wait, ByuN, are we turning around? Jesus. ByuN, calm down. Bit of an F2 there by ByuN. But now he's pushing in. Again, there's no shield by ready. Shield by ready is not on the way. The mortal's almost out. There's the recall. And recall's back home. But the tanks do siege. Yeah, tanks are within range. Not enough zealots. Massive tank voice going off. MaxPax, he gets punished. And MaxPax, he will lose almost everything here. Yeah, nice retargeting with the tanks. No friendly fire. Immortal gets hunted down. The army's heavily overstimmed. Very overstimmed. The boys are being pulled. They can actually fight the Marines. Oh my god. Yeah, the Marines are being cleaned up. The boys do defend. The probes, Fappy. Now the tanks are on their own. Now the tanks are exposed. You can see ByuN trying to rally over. ByuN did overextend into the mineral line. He will lose everything. The tanks are on their own. Yeah, ByuN got too excited. He got too excited, went too far in. And where exactly are we here? Okay, so first things first. MaxPax gets a 3rd. His 3rd base is getting up and running. Storm is on the way. The aggression has subsided. Behind this, we still have that prison behind the mineral line. Oh. And ByuN, he has no 3rd CC. And no 3rd CC here for ByuN. He had potential. If he hadn't overextended, if he had maybe pushed forward with the tanks and reinforced, then maybe he could have gone on top of the robo and kept going. The probes are pretty good, true. And now we expand. 3rd TC is now on the way. The game will slow down. ByuN is going to attempt to get into the mid game, but in a really awkward position. Behind this, MaxPax, his third base is getting up. Doesn't have a high probe count. He did lose a lot of workers earlier, that is true, but tech-wise, he's there. He has Storm. He has plenty of High Templar. If MaxPax wanted to, he could push out as ByuN tries to expand. So there's going to be a moment here where ByuN is vulnerable when he attempts to take his third base. Until then, we're backing up. Backing off, we're building up. Delve too deeply, too greedily. See, Patty, see. Prism does get sniped. No. Storm's going to be coming in. How many High Templar do we have? 5. Okay, 5 Templar here with the main army. With that nice pre-split here out of ByuN. Does pre-split. His third base leading up behind this. ByuN does distract. And ByuN should be able to expand. It is so crucial here that ByuN just keeps the army at bay. It keeps MaxPax at bay. Here comes the third. MaxPax, yes, be careful. Here, does zone. Doesn't have enough zealots here to keep pushing. Is lacking his gateway army. Just now moving in. Yeah, Prism's going across the map. Oof. Storm zones away. And ByuN, he doesn't really have much at home to actually keep this up. Prism gets into the main base. ByuN is being spread thin. Warpin is going to finish. Yeah, and he cannot defend. Yeah, he cannot defend the third base. He just doesn't have the numbers. ByuN evacuates. Very mature decision. And MaxPax doesn't have to push in. Just contain. EMPs are popping up. Nice EMPs on the Archons. Ooh. Storm does graze the army. And behind this gets a fourth base, right? Like, that's all that MaxPax has to do. Just contain the Terran player for as long as possible. Get a fourth base. Get a fifth. Base on the way, working towards Colossus. Just buying as much time as possible. And still has 3 more storms. Oh, God. The storms are brutal. Goes back into the storm. Marauders are going to be going down. More storms zone away. And ByuN just cannot expand. Cannot expand, cannot get a third. It's just not going to happen. Going for another warp in. Oh, this time it's going to be denied. MaxPax still playing with fire. Has to be careful. And he doesn't want to overextend. There's no need. There's no need to push in. And he backs up. Thankfully, he does pull away, does back off. ByuN finally expands, but as he gets a third base, MaxPax already on 4. Right, he's already in a 4-base economy. Recalled back home. Pulls away. Robo's on the way, building up into Colossus. So again, coming in towards the mid-game, MaxPax is in a better position. Second Robo, double Colossus production. ByuN does have a lot of potential with the Ghost, at least. And the EMPs are connecting. Yeah, ByuN, he does have a comparable army. So he's got to he has to make use of it here and now. That's MaxPax going for another backstab. Prism heads towards the natural. ByuN rotating in. Oh, nice EMP. Nice EMP. He has a high ground as well. EMPs do connect. They blanket the entire army. Yeah, MaxPax out of position. Archons will be going down. And there's no storms. Yeah, 0 storms here to defend. ByuN, he can take this fight. He's trying to push in. Oh no, here comes the defensive storm. Oh. And MaxPax holds. MaxPax, he barely holds on. The storm has arrived back at home. Reinforcements are dealing with the prism. Dealing with the zealots. Again, ByuN, he almost broke him then and there. MaxPax was on the low ground, out of position, pushing into a concave, into mass EMP. But MaxPax survives. Oh. So prism is still across the map. ByuN still sharking around. The 4th CC is on the way. I'm sure ByuN is tempted. I'm sure he's very tempted to engage. Again, there's very little support for the Colossus here. At the same time, the prism has been so annoying. Once again, distracting ByuN. Getting into the main. The recall won't save the prism. And ByuN can finally focus on his main army. How many ghosts? 8. Sorry, 6. 6 ghosts. How many Vikings? Only 5. Yeah, 5 Vikings, 6 ghosts. The army isn't quite there. Still building up. Meanwhile, MaxPax is securing 4 bases. ByuN going for a split push. Let's go. Does split off. MaxPax, he rotates over towards the left-hand side. Overreaction. He has all 4 Colossus here on the left. The main base 3, the 4th base is exposed. ByuN stems in, and MaxPax out of position. A big misread here from the Protoss. The Nexus should go down. Oh my god, no, barely not. And ByuN doesn't commit. Barely. One more shot, one more volley. Doesn't get the base. I mean, again, that was a better rotation from ByuN, but didn't get the damage he was hoping for. Now we're up to 5 Colossus. Jeez, that's a lot of lasers, Pappy. Up to 5 Colossus against 5 Vikings. The problem here, the Viking count is so low. We're still making medevacs. Oh, ByuN, we don't need them right now. We need Vikings. There's 5 Colossus. So Zelda gets in, distracts ByuN. Okay, we have 1 Viking per Colossus. Ay, ay, ay. MaxPax, he pulls away, getting in the center expansion. I was going to say that this center base is going to be difficult to maintain because ByuN had map control, but that isn't the case anymore. ByuN was forced back, and MaxPax expands. As ByuN is getting a 2nd starport, +1 ship weapons is almost done. He's now working on Vikings. Thank God. Viking production now is recommencing. Now, when it comes to the ideal late game Terran composition, ByuN is almost there. So, for those that are curious, going at Marauder, Ghost, Viking, Liberator is kind of like the ideal end game. So, from here, we should be seeing a Fusion Core, into maybe even a 3rd starport, into eventually Liberators, after we have a comfortable Viking count. So, ByuN is maxed out. And once again, MaxPax is not quite in position. His main army is in the center. He responds, he reacts. ByuN sharking around with another force. And MaxPax, how does he split up his army? So far, he does have a couple of high Templar here towards the south side. ByuN collapsing on the Colossus. He stims in. He stims in, and he'll get 1. He'll get 2. Oh my god. Yeah, storms are connecting. Breaks through the Colossus line though. Limited storms. The Colossus are so low. Gets 2 Colossus. 3, 4, and all 5. All 5 Colossus will go down. Massive pickoffs. Again, MaxPax will spread thin. A better engagement here by ByuN. And it shows how difficult it is to maintain the center base. Yeah, MaxPax was attacked from both sides, from both flanks. He got surrounded essentially. So difficult to defend. And MaxPax, he has been broken. He's been broken. It takes so long to rebuild those Colossus. You can't afford to lose them. Not like that. And ByuN should be able to run away with this. The pressure's on MaxPax. Pressure is on. He's got 2 Eye Templar. He's got 2 Templar. He's going to have 1 Colossus. Let's go. But this exemplifies the features of the map that we spoke about at the beginning of the game, how spread out the bases are, right? Specifically on Tidal Citadel, the bases are so spread out, they're so spread thin, where if you're ever caught out of position, it's even more punishing. It's even more punishing when it comes to trying to rotate to defend the base or trying to reinforce a position as well. The 5th base is so difficult to maintain on Tidal, and MaxPax finds out at the hard way. Because of that, I was going to favor whoever got into the mid game with map control, and it was ByuN. It was not MaxPax. ByuN, he was able to gain map control. Otherwise, we would have seen the inverse of this, where it would have been ByuN struggling to get a 5th base and struggling to expand, with MaxPax rotating. As MaxPax is rebuilding his Colossus, he's trying to build back up, expanding here on the right hand side, and ByuN is waiting to max out. He's getting there. Behind this, working on +3. So from auto stimming in, they just tank the storms. Getting 1, getting 2. Once again, MaxPax's main army is here on the right hand side, and ByuN, he breaks this. He breaks the base, breaks the nexus. Another expansion goes down. He moves in. MaxPax, he's just being pulled apart. He pulls over towards the left. By the time he does, the right hand base is going down as well. Like MaxPax, he just cannot keep up with his movements. As I mentioned before, specifically on this map, the bases are very spread thin. And MaxPax just cannot keep up with the army. Storms are trying to zone away. Goes for the recall. The base will get sniped. Denies the recall. Ay, ay, ay. The recall is denied. He's trying to base over. GG gets called, and ByuN will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played ByuN. He does take it again. A very intense back and forth here. The map did come into play, as we mentioned. Specifically, I would say the Tidal Citadel is the most difficult map to actually expand and get up to 4 and then 5 bases. It is very, very difficult compared to any other map. You are so spread out. You're so spread apart. The terrain doesn't help you, as you have a lot of terrain to traverse to go from one base to the other to the other. And as I mentioned before, I do favor whoever has map control, and it goes both ways. If the Protoss gain map control early on, then they can give the Terran a hard time expanding. Likewise, Terran can also give the Protoss a hard time expanding if they do actually have that map control, they have that momentum. GG, well played. Whew, ByuN, he will take it, will take the series, and with that he will advance on to those semis. Let's go, back, let's go. Just catching up.